Hey everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel God Would Do It For You. My name is Steven. I hope everyone's having a great day so far. And what we're going to be talking about today is how God changes you from the inside out and the great benefits that come with it. Especially something that I've experienced myself, definitely first and forehand, and just the things that people say that they notice in me and how I talk about God and how it doesn't seem like I'm just talking about him because I want attention. It seems authentic, like I just giving the appreciation of having God in my life. And sometimes we might not really value that, but it truly is a blessing when you see how others are handling the stressors of life right now, and how those that handle it when they have God and those that handle it when they don't have God. So first, we're going to jump to a few different places in the Bible that talk about this. That way you could just see, and it's more than this, but just to see the numerous times that it's always being told that God is working in us to change us for the betterment of ourselves, and also to be a better representation of who we are and how we represent him outwardly to the world. So first we're going to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 18, and it says, "And we all with unveiled face behold the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. For this comes from the Lord who is the Spirit." So this is talking about how the Holy Spirit is working in us to help us change who we need to become. As it says, being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. Also, we're going to jump to Ephesians chapter 2 verse 10. It says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Jesus Christ for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them." So again, sometimes God has to do the work in us so that way he can prepare you for what he has for you. There's nothing like giving a child a sports car at 16 years old as their first car. There's a good chance that they're going to make some silly decisions with that car. That is why parents usually do not do that. They usually give them something that they know that they can handle. You know, maybe a Honda or something that is in the 100 horsepower range, not something that's right off the back, 16 years old, 300 something horsepower and above. Yeah, they're going to be getting tickets, or worse, a car accident. We would be a bad parent to set our children up for failure by doing something like that. God is the same way. It would behoove him to give us the blessing before we're prepared for it. He has to do the internal work. He has to make sure that our heart posture is in the proper position, so that way when we receive what God gives us, we aren't hot-headed, we aren't cocky, arrogant, and all the things that would not be a good representation of God. We're also going to jump to Philippians, chapter 2 verse 13, and it says, "For it is God who works in you, both to will and to work for his good pleasure." So again, reiterating it again, that he is working in you for both the will, that means his will for your life, and to work for his good pleasure, to also just be a good representation of him. So again, these things that we ask for husbands and wives, elevation in jobs, things of that nature, asking to be a public figure, to be a good example and a good role model for people. Well, some people don't understand the amount of attention that comes with that. Think when Jesus was a carpenter, until he was pointed out in the crowd and said, "That's him right there," there was no attention on him because the work was being done in the background. But once God unveiled him, the amount of attention, the people that were following him and things of that nature, Jesus was ready for it. The work had been done. But imagine if the internal work isn't done in your life, and you say you want to be a spouse to someone, and you don't know how to even recognize the toxic traits that might be in your body, in your mind, and your spirit, because the work hasn't been done. You can lose the very thing that you've been praying and hoping for. I know how that feels. I've made a mistake, and once you realize, okay, this isn't as common as you think, and it is really hard to find someone that has these qualities on the market, then God makes you realize, hey, one, there are people out there that exhibit these qualities that you desire. Two, you have to make sure that you're actually prepared mentally, physically, stable, and you have to have me in your life so that way you don't lose what you've been hoping and praying for and what you've been working towards. It's the same thing with your goals. A lot comes with what God gives us, because he doesn't usually just give just a little. He usually, by what I've seen other people, it's usually hockey puck. It's just, they're just on the upward scale of success. And that is why a lot of the times people, once they have their purpose in place, there's a drastic gap in how the ordinary life is and how God has you living. And that's because God does want us to live abundantly, above all we can ask or think. But if you're not willing to put in the work, if you're not willing to go through the fire, through the struggles, through the heartache, through all the different things that God is using to transform your mind and your heart, then you might not be the best person for the job. All right, we're going to go lastly to Ezekiel. We're going to go to chapter 36, and we're going to go down to verse 26, and it says, "And I will give you a new heart, and a new spirit I will put within you. And I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh, and give you a heart of flesh." Wow. So again, he will renew your spirit and your heart, because your spirit is what you allow into your mind that alters your spirit. So when God renews your heart, which gives you the ability to think with compassion and to take the high road when you feel like maybe you wouldn't have done that if you weren't the same person. Like, you know what? The old me would have been really, I want to get back at this person type of thing. But when your heart is renewed, it's okay. You can learn how to let go, and your spirit won't have a negative stigma that's basically following you around all day, making you angry, because your spirit would be like, you know what? God is working everything out for the betterment for me. And sometimes he will use bad circumstances, bad breakups, betrayal, loneliness, where he removes people out of your life. Sometimes he'll use these things to transform you. And that's where the Bible tells us his ways are not our ways. And that's because he knows how to bring about the result that you actually need, not the result that you want. So when you go into prayer and you say, hey, God, I need to change. I want to change. I want to be a better person. He's looking at you like, are you sure is this what you really want to do? Are you willing to go through whatever I need to put you through in order for you to come out to be a better person, a better man, or a better woman? And if the answer is yes, you're in for the ride. You are in for the ride, and it's going to be a interesting one, because of somebody told me that I had to go through everything that I had to go through to be who I am now, and also be to the point where I truly believe in my heart that I have a high chance of success with what I'm pursuing. The amount of time, the amount of sacrifice, the amount of people not caring about what you are trying to do, the amount of people not believing in it, you confiding in the people that you trust and they just don't care. If God had to tell you, this is what you're going to have to go through, do you think you can handle it to get to there? A lot of people be scratching their chin. They're like, I don't know, man. That $89,000 regular life doesn't sound too bad. Cybersecurity people make good money. And immediately you'll second guess it. That's why he doesn't tell us. Because it's either you're in or you're out. It's either you're all in with me and you're going to trust me, and I'm going to put you through some things to see how much you really trust me, see if you actually walking the walk and talking the talk. Or will you allow the test of time to break you? And God's goal isn't to break you, it's to toughen you up, because you have no idea what it looks like once you're elevated by him. And so what he is doing, he is preparing you in a way that once you see what it looks like, you'll look back at all the things that you've been through. It's just like the story of David that I talked about in my last video, how when he was presented with the opportunity for elevation, all he did was look back and say, you know what? I've been tested. I've handled these things. I've handled lions and bears, and I slayed them. This is a human being that, yeah, he's big, but those are the strongest of the strongest in the wild. So, and God was with me. So is God not going to be with me going against man? Now, see, when you walk with that type of confidence and that assurance because of the work that God has done in you, nothing will stop you from achieving what you desire. Because success all starts with faith and the desire to achieve something that you're really passionate about. At that point, God does what he does best to get you to where you are trying to go. The best inventors, these jobs out here that you probably work for, or these businesses that are helping you earn money, whatever the case may be, they were all constructed by someone's desire to build something outside of the norm. Because without those ideas and those people that had the gumption to actually follow through with their plan, it'll be very limited opportunities out here. God wants us to be successful, but you have to ask yourself, is there anything about you that you feel needs to be changed? Because I don't regret anything that God has allowed once I realize who I am now, because I'm like, I'm going to make an excellent husband one day. I already know it. Just because I know what to do, I know how to lead properly, I'm respectful, my heart is in the right place. My mind is in the right place. My spirit is in the right place. My son is good. I understand what it means to trust God and really put your all into what you're trying to do out here to increase your chances of success. Because once you feel that you are at your best and you are giving it the best that you got, and if your best is good enough for the world to see, that's when they let you in, and that's where it just starts to happen, man. I talk to successful people and I look at these videos too, and that's just how it goes. When your best is good enough, then that's when the gate opens and you start to experience a life that you never thought that you can experience. So I hope this video's been a blessing. If you feel led to like, share, subscribe, definitely do so. I don't know what's coming in my future. I just know that, it's like I said in my other videos, I feel like I'm at the point where if I put something out, it's going to sound identical to what people hear on Spotify. I can actually hear it. I can see it. I'm like, this is the best I got. This is it. And so one last push. I'm going to just do it randomly this month when I feel like the plan is ready to be executed. And I'm just going to push. I'm going to just give it my best. It's almost like going to an NFL combine, you know, the tryouts for the NFL. They're like, hey, I built myself up for this. I've been going through football all through high school. I did college. You know, my body's in good shape. I've put in the work. I've worked outside of what the training is done in actual practice. I've managed my diet. I've worked out. I've done everything I know to do. So now it's just time to show myself off. And if I'm good enough, I get drafted into the NFL. That's just how it goes. So for me, if my best is good enough, I will achieve being a full-time music producer. When you tell people that that's what you want to do, they say it's a dream job. And that's exactly what this is. This is my dream that I truly believe in my heart that I have a high chance of actually being successful in and making this thing happen. Same thing with my food business. I've put in the work. Everything's in place. I truly believe that this will be a business that I can leave to my son, or can create something for my family that I hope to have built up more in the future. But this could be something that I can say, this is yours. So if it blows up, which I believe it will because I can cook, then if y'all want to sell it down the road, sell it. But if y'all don't, this is yours. You can keep it. Music is mine though. This is my job, my passion, what I want to do. But I'm looking at the greater good of what me achieving the things that I desire will bring to the environment and those that feel down, those that feel like there's no hope, or those that feel like, well, I got kids, so I got to put everything on the back burner, or this and that. It's so much bigger than that. It's more than just me being successful at it. You know, the amount of people that you can inspire and the hearts that you can touch by achieving the things that God has for you is what we don't really think about. But that's what I think about. I think about the greater good of what can be achieved through my success. So again, I hope this video has been a blessing. Again, like, share, subscribe, whatever you feel like doing. Otherwise, have a good rest of your day. And until next time.